The misnomered TikTok ban is getting ready to be in the news quite a bit coming up soon. This is an article in the Wall Street Journal from yesterday in the review section discussing the fact that the TikTok ban would violate America's free speech tradition. The so-called TikTok ban is set for oral argument beginning January 10th, 2025 in front of the U.S. Supreme Court. And I thought it was time to review the fact that the TikTok ban is much more far-reaching than just banning TikTok in the United States. First, I looked up the countries where TikTok is outright banned or severely restricted, and they are the following: Afghanistan, India, Nepal, Senegal, Somalia, Jordan, Russia, and China. And then there are partial bans in countries such as the United States, Canada, Australia, and Indonesia. What type of government bans TikTok or severely restricts? Authoritarian regimes, and then countries with fragile or transitional governments. As far as democracies, the EU nations and Australia restrict TikTok on government devices. If you actually read the pertinent parts of the law, which I've done last spring, the scope of the legislation is targeting foreign-controlled platforms, and TikTok is a China-owned platform. But the criteria for designation is headquartered in a foreign adversary country, a foreign government owns at least 20% of the app, or it is subject to direction or control by a foreign adversary. However, there are implications more far-reaching that are in the law that you can read. The law also applies to any social media company that meets the following criteria: operating in the United States, allowing users to create accounts and share content or engage in real-time conversation and communication, has more than 1 million active users, and if such a platform is determined by the president to pose a significant national security threat, it can be subject to similar restrictions or bans. The definition of a significant national security threat is subject to interpretation. So if you go back to 1971, the U.S. Supreme Court heard a case where the government was trying to restrict the New York Times from publishing the Pentagon Papers, which was critical of the United States handling of the Vietnam conflict in the 1960s. That block was rejected by the Supreme Court, and the concurring opinion was from Justice Hugo Black, who said, quote, "We are asked to hold that despite the First Amendment's emphatic command, the executive branch, the Congress, and the judiciary can make laws enjoining publication of current news and abridging freedom of the press in the name of national security." He goes on to write, "The word security is a broad, vague generality whose contours should not be invoked to abrogate the fundamental law embodied in the First Amendment." And he called that request laughable. If the Supreme Court in 1971 sided with the U.S. government and blocked the publication of the Pentagon Papers, national security would have become just such a blank check for censoring speech. That supposed dangerous threat from foreign adversaries was discussed all the way back in May of 1798 in a letter from James Madison to Thomas Jefferson. So it's not a new issue. In December, the D.C. Circuit Court upheld this law that was passed in April of 2024. After reading it and seeing what was coming together, I formulated and published my own app so that in case these social media platforms go away, I can't be censored even more than I already have been. So until I reach 1 million app users, I'm good. So let's have a discussion. Is this a good idea or a bad idea to start down this slippery slope on the attack on free speech. Have a great day, and I'll talk to you later. Bye.